Hey guys, Glycermania here, coming back at you with another wrestling video today. And obviously, y'all already heard the news about Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks being let go from their contracts. Obviously, they've been requesting their release for a while, and they finally got their release granted. So I'm not gonna play the game on predicting where all these wrestlers are gonna end up in after their contract is over. I'm just gonna be talking about like my opinion on the whole contract letting go situation. Is it a good thing for AEW to let wrestlers go that don't want to be there, that they're not really utilizing well? Yes, it's a good thing. But also, I would like to mention that I feel like sometimes when AEW fumbles a wrestler in their company, or when WWE fumbles a wrestler in their company, it's not always AEW management's fault, or it's not always WWE management's fault. Like sometimes it could be the wrestler's fault. Like in my opinion, when it came to Ricky Starks, I feel like Ricky Starks could have been something bigger, but I feel like Ricky Starks could have been something bigger in AEW, but I feel like for Ricky Starks, he kind of fumbled himself. Reason why he kind of fumbled himself is because I'm not gonna like spread false information, so don't say I'm spreading false information with this video. This is just all my opinion and all my takes right here. But I feel like Ricky Starks kind of rubbed people in the AEW office the wrong way. Like AEW also has something to do with Ricky Starks being let go. AEW has something to do with Ricky Starks being unhappy there, but like it's also his fault too. Because if you kind of think about it, like I understand Ricky Starks was trying to support a friend when he was making his first ever when he was like wrestling his first Royal Rumble back. He was like supporting Cody Rhodes when he was wrestling his first Royal Rumble back, and he was obviously there for Cody Rhodes. But like some people in the AEW locker room took it as he was betraying the company when he was on Chris Van Vliet's episode explaining how people felt when he went to support Cody Rhodes and I think watch Cody Rhodes win the title at Mania. But like honestly, that aside, I feel like there's more story that we don't know about Ricky Starks and AEW management's beef. Like, is it my fault? I mean, is it AEW's fault for giving him the stop and start pushes? Yes, it is AEW's fault for giving him the stop and start pushes because like Ricky Starks was obviously a star that was catching big momentum, that was getting really over with the crowd, and I feel like Ricky Starks deserved more, like maybe a TNT championship run, maybe a AEW International Championship run, and then you could build him to be an AEW World Champion. But obviously, he didn't get on that level because either he had clashes with management, or either like management didn't really book him well, or they didn't really see him as a top contender very well. And I'm going to talk about Miro next. When it comes to Miro, Miro was really good when AEW was still new. He was really good as TNT champion. And then after that TNT championship run, when he dropped it, he just didn't really do much. Like he was only good for like the pandemic um version of AEW. And then after that, he just sat at home just playing video games on Twitch and all that. Like when it comes to Miro being released from the company, it made sense because if you weren't going to do anything with him, then you may as well release him. And it made sense. Like, I don't think Miro should even go back to WWE. My opinion is because, like, what are they going to do with him in WWE? Are they going to name him Miro or Rusev? Like, I've seen some people on the internet say that Miro should go back to WWE, and I'm like, no, he don't need to go back to WWE. If he's still gonna wrestle, in my opinion, I want to see him in GCW, or I want to see him in TNA. I don't think he can go back to WWE anymore because I feel like there's so many wrestlers that had um that same audience and that same fan base that he had when he was in WWE as Rusev and when Rusev Day was over. For example, people like LA Knight are is kind of like a Rusev in my opinion. he's kind of like a new generation Rusev to the WWE audience. Like basically what Rusev Day was back in like 2017, 18, 19 was um what LA Knight is in 2024, 2025, and 2023. So Miro doesn't need to go back to WWE, in my opinion. And as of Malakai Black, when it came to Malakai Black's getting let go of AEW, from what I heard, I feel like AEW saw something in him, but it was Malakai Black himself that did not want to continue with every pet plan. And also, he had mental health issues, kind of, from the first time he took a hiatus off of wrestling in AEW. And, like, do I blame AEW for the way they booked him when he first came in the company? Kinda. I kinda blame him. I kinda blame them, but it's also Malakai Black's fault too. Like, do I think AEW fumbled these guys? They fumbled. Okay, when it comes to fumbling, like the only person who I think they fumbled the most, kinda, if you want to talk about AEW, is Ricky Starks. They fumbled Ricky Starks. Miro, they kind of fumbled, but at the same time, Miro has his own problems too, so it's a 50-50. Malakai Black, Malakai Black fumbled Malakai Black mostly. AEW did fumble him a little bit, but Malakai Black fumbled Malakai Black the most. We just keep in mind we never know what goes on behind the scenes fully, besides the reports that we hear. So I'm not here to spread any false information. I'm just here to share my opinions on these releases and if AEW dropped the ball with these wrestlers or if AEW didn't. But my opinion, AEW only dropped the ball with Ricky Starks. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? I would like to hear it in the comment section down below. And if you guys like more wrestling videos, make sure to follow for more. And I'll see you guys in the next video.